What up, my friends? This is Ron with Crossroads Media, and welcome to beautiful Pensacola, Florida, where today's video is going to be the one you guys have been asking for, begging for, hell, demanding for, ever since I did the very first review video on the Mako Pro Skiff 17. Today, we are going to give you the on-water features, how fast it goes, how much weight it will hold, how far a tank of fuel will get you. We're also going to give you the detailed specifications of the Mako Pro Skiff 17. The weight, the dry weight, how much gear it'll hold, anything and everything that you could want to know about this boat, we are going to put it in today's video, so make sure you watch till the end. I've had a lot of questions about this. I've actually contacted Mako and got the exact specifications for the things that I could not measure on my own, so everything that you will see in today's video is accurate on the 2020 model per the research I've done and per the folks at Mako who I actually just spoke with this morning. So you guys come along for the ride, and we're going to show you guys some features and specifications of the Mako Pro Skiff 17. All right, guys, so one of the first measurements we're going to do and show you guys is from fender to fender on this trailer. One of the big questions we get asked almost every single video is how wide is the trailer and how wide does your garage door need to be to open through it. So I'm just going to measure the trailer by itself for fender to fender. Obviously, the trailer is wider than the boat, so it doesn't need the boat on here to make that work. If I can get it to stick. And it is 7 foot 6 inches from fender to fender. Another thing that's been asked that honestly I've never really thought about, because I do store my boat outside, is what the height of this crossbar is as far as being able to back it into a covered storage. So I'm going to measure that right now for you. Mako's site says that it is 6 foot 8 inches high, and I would say that's just about spot on. I would say 6 foot 6, 6 foot 8 is going to be right to the top of this bar. Obviously, if you have poles on there, it's going to be a lot higher than that. So you're looking at, I would say comfortably, you would need at least a 7 foot tall opening in order to back the Mako inside. And now we're going to talk about total storage length of the boat. Now, I want to preface this by saying you can buy a special part for a trailer where the tongue actually folds in and it's more of the actual length of the boat. I don't have that, so for my boat, I'm going to give you the total length from the tongue all the way back to where the prop sits when it's on the transom saver. So we're going to put the tape measure right here. So from the tip of the tongue to where the prop is going to sit in the stored position, you're looking at 23 feet 8 inches on the Mako 17. All right, guys, so right now we are at idle speed on the Mako, and you can see right there it runs about 3 miles an hour at idle speed, and it runs about 650 to 750 on the tack. So that's just your idle speed. Of course, you know, there's lots of no wake zones here in Pensacola and things like that. So we're going to open it up to about half throttle and show you guys how fast it will go. Now, right now, just so you guys know and aware, Sarah and I are both on the boat, so we are at about half of the weight capacity that we would be on this boat. So I'm guessing with gear and everything, we're looking at about 500 pounds on board right now. And that's going to play a major factor in your speed. You know, you're not going to get the same speed every time. Obviously, when I'm on the boat by myself, I get way more speed out of it than when I do if it's loaded down with a whole group of people. So we're going to go ahead and open it up to about 50% throttle and show you guys. I will tell you ahead of time because it's going to get a little bit loud. Actually, it's not going to get loud because this motor is super quiet. But just so you know, it does run around 20-21 miles an hour at half throttle. And then it's going to be somewhere between 30 and 35 miles an hour for full throttle. But we are going to get over this wake that we had another boat pass us just now. We're going to get over that, and then we're going to take off and zip down through here just a little bit and get you guys some video of what this boat will do speed-wise. So guys, that right there is going to be about 50% throttle. Like I said, it's going to run around 20-21 miles per hour at 50% throttle. That's with about 500 pounds of weight capacity on the boat. And we're going to go on ahead and open it up full throttle. And we do have nice, slick, calm conditions today. So we're going to be cruising along at about 32, 33 miles per hour right there, as you guys can see, under full throttle with about 500 pounds on the boat. All right, guys, so another question we get asked all the time is how many people can ride on the Mako Pro Skiff 17? And the answer to that is 6, comfortably. Now, as far as fishing wise, I've told you guys before, about 4 people on here fishing at a time is the max capacity of this boat. But as far as cruising, you can easily get 6 people on this vessel. So you're gonna start right here at the front. I do suggest padding for them because it is a little bit of a rough ride up front if you're just sitting on the hard plastic. We usually just take the life jackets out, but you can put a person sitting right here, a person sitting right here, and a person sitting on this center seat in the front of the console right here. And then we will move to the back and show you the seating specifications back there. So in the back of the boat, you have the captain's helm for one person, and then you can put a person on either side on this back casting deck. Now, what we had found is a much more comfortable ride for folks is I normally stand when I drive this boat like 99% of the time. So typically, if we have 6 people on the boat, we put the 3 in the front, I stand up and drive, and then we'll put 2 people on either side of the captain's helm and put their legs to the side, and it's always a comfortable ride for everybody when we got 6 people on the boat. Another question we get asked all the time is what the weight of this boat is when it's being towed. Now, for the most part, when you guys see videos of us driving, we're pulling this boat with the Chevy Silverado, and it's a 2400, so it's way more truck than I need to pull this boat. If you guys watched the video where we went down to Tampa, we actually took the boat down there with the Ford Flex. I've pulled that all the way down to Tampa, Florida, which is about 450 miles. I've pulled that to Kentucky, and when we did, we went through the mountains in Tennessee and had no issues whatsoever pulling this boat with the Ford Flex. This boat dry and the trailer weighs 2,050 pounds. That's your trailer, your motor, and the actual vessel itself. You have to keep in mind though that you're adding fuel. If you've got full tanks of fuel, like I added the 12-gallon tank, it's one of the upgrades that I made to the boat. We had talked about that in the previous videos. That alone adds almost 100 pounds of weight because you take 12 gallons at 8 gallons or about 8 pounds a gallon for fuel. Plus I've got the 6-gallon tank still on here that I keep full as well. So with the trolling motor, with my equipment, I always just assume that I've got about an extra 300 pounds on the boat, and you can round it up from there. So you're really looking at about 2,400 pounds towing, and that's dry weight of the boat. So you really have to decide at that point if your car will pull that or not. The Ford Flex is rated for 4,000 pound towing capacity, so I have no issue whatsoever pulling this boat down the road, up mountains, and putting it in and out of the water, which is a big thing. Just because your vehicle will pull a boat does not mean that it will pull it in and out of water, because you are on a steep incline and you're pulling against the force of that water when you pull it out. So it does add some towing weight as you're pulling that boat up out of the water. Next question we get asked is always, how much will the boat hold? Now, total weight that the boat will hold is listed at 1,650 pounds. So you really have to take into account, first off, the weight of the people that's on your boat. Obviously, I'm a bigger dude, so I'm not going to be able to put myself and 5 more guys that's my size on the boat. That could probably be a little bit dangerous. I will tell you, with myself, Sarah, Landon, and Chase on the boat, and all of our gear, we've never had an issue whatsoever. And I definitely think they lean on the side of caution when they give those specifications for weights, because I know for a fact we've had more than 1,650 pounds on here, and it has been a safe ride. But with that being said, I don't want to mislead you. The specs for this boat is 1,650 pounds total weight on board, counting your gear, your people, your fuel. That's anything extra that you've added to the boat that was not on there as its dry weight. So I think the actual specs list people weight at 1,000 pounds and then 1,650 pounds for total gear and everything. And that is also, you have to count the motor into that weight as well, because it is on top of the vessel. So again, 1,650 pounds is the legal weight. I have had more than 1,650 pounds on this boat before. So from a personal standpoint, I know it will hold more. But again, it's going to be one of those things where you have to do it based on your comfort level and conditions. Conditions are everything, guys. I can't stress that enough. Today, we're on Bayou Tahar here in Pensacola, and it's flat calm. So I would pretty much be willing to do just about anything on this boat today, because I'm not going to have any variables coming from the water wake or anything like that. Obviously, if it's a super choppy day out in Pensacola Bay, I'm not going out there with more than 1,650 pounds on the boat, because you don't want to push it past its capacity and then put yourself in a precarious situation where you put yourself or other people that are on the boat with you in danger. All right, so how far will this 75 horsepower 4-stroke Mercury engine go on a 6-gallon tank of gas? Now, isn't that the magical question? Because everybody wants to know how far their boat can go safely without getting stranded out on the water. So first off, as I told you guys in the 3-month review video, I had to upgrade the tank on this boat because I just was not comfortable whatsoever. Even going out to the pass and back, I was using 3/4 of a tank of fuel. Now, that's about a 16.5, 17-mile run for me from Bayou Chico, which is where I typically launch from. It's a little over 8 miles out there and a little over 8 miles back. So that is about right. The 6-gallon tank under normal conditions is going to take you somewhere between 20 and 25 miles. The 12-gallon tank I put on completely erases any concern I ever have because I still have my 6-gallon tank that I keep on board. Now, I don't have that hooked up, and some of you techie guys may be able to know how to do that. I don't know how to hook both of them up. All I did was unhook the quick connect from the 6-gallon tank, hooked it into the 12-gallon tank, which I put on this side, and I run off just the 12-gallon tank. But I have the 6-gallon tank full at all times, just in case I do need a backup fuel source. But with this thing, I know for a fact Sarah and I have actually ran well over 50 miles in one day while we ran basically all over the place fishing, and still had fuel in the tank on the 12-gallon tank, and then had the 6-gallon tank as a backup should we need it. So the 12-gallon tank is going to get you somewhere between 55 and 60 miles, or 50 and 55 miles to be safe. The 6-gallon tank is going to get you somewhere between 20 and 25 miles, just depending on the conditions and obviously how you're driving the boat. So a big thing with this boat that I think concerns people is being able to get it up on plane because it is a skiff boat. I will tell you guys, this is hands down the easiest boat I've ever had to get up on plane ever. There's no trimming required. I know a lot of boats, especially with bass boats and things like that, you have to adjust your trim back and forth in order to get the boat up on plane. You don't have to do any of that with the Mako Pro Skiff. You pour the throttle to it, it'll come up on plane usually within 2 to 3 seconds. So we'll roll a clip right now of bringing the boat from flat in throttle mode, and I'll go straight into full throttle and bring it up on plane so you can see just how quickly it gets up on plane. You know I don't fluff things or sugarcoat things for you. And if there are things I don't like about the boat, I'm more than happy to express those with you guys. And one of the things that this boat does struggle with is wake. Long story short, when we first got the boat, I almost killed Sarah and Chase one day because I did not account for wake. When you have another boat's wake, if you don't hit it straight on and slow down quite a lot, this boat does not handle it well. I mean, it will handle it, but it's gonna toss you and it's gonna hurt a little, especially if somebody's sitting up on the front. So what I typically try to do is if a big boat comes by, and if it's small like jet ski wake or something like that, it's not really anything to worry about. But if it's a big wake, you wanna turn the boat a little bit and hit that thing head on with not a lot of steam behind you, because if you do, this boat is going to smack really hard. The tri-hull design on it does a great job at handling like normal rolling waves, but that wake is so close together that it just smacks really hard. And I have had water come up over the nose of the boat before because I was moving too fast when I took wake and just wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. And that, guys, will be a wrap on the on-water features and specification details on the Mako Pro Skiff 17. I really hope we were able to answer some of the questions that you guys have been asking ever since we've been posting the boat review videos when we bought it back in January. I know there's a ton of information about it that's scattered all over the place, so hopefully this brings all of that in and puts it in one common place for you guys to be able to find it. If you have any other questions, please comment down below. I'll do my best to answer those for you. But for now, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You guys stay safe, stay blessed. We'll see you on the next one.